When athletic directors begin the search for a new head coach, they're looking for a leader who checks the boxes and can elevate the program to the next level. Eric Peterson is the right man for the job and is no stranger to turning programs around. He helped USD to its first conference title in the D1 era in his first stint at South Dakota, and then did the same thing at Utah State when the Aggies went to 3 straight NCAA tournaments.
The process, while this process might have seemed quick, it was not rushed at all. President Gestring and I were extremely focused on the attributes and characteristics of what we were looking for in our next head men's basketball coach, and Eric, without a doubt, checked all the boxes and more.
Our next USD men's basketball head coach and alumnus, Eric Peterson.
South Dakota, our Summit League champions again. It's a three-peat for the Coyotes. USD reigns in Sioux Falls.
How do you replace a coach that has taken the program where it had never been before?
For South Dakota, the dream is now a reality. The Yotes move on to the Sweet 16 for the first time in program history.
But today is just another great day to be a Coyote. I feel like I said that just about 3 weeks ago.
With that, I'm sure everyone is dying to hear from your new coach. I would like to introduce to you Kayla Karius.
I think the whole week we were just all so excited to be back in the gym together. I love a loud gym. I love when it's energetic. I even tell our managers and our practice squad, like, you've got to give energy. So I love when it's loud, and I think when you get everybody in the same gym together, it really has the feel like the season's coming. I'm excited for our schedule this season. I think it's a little bit of a mix for us. There's some challenging games. There's some great matchups at home for our fans to come out and enjoy. I think some of the key ones for them to come out and enjoy will be Creighton, no doubt, on November 10th. We're gonna play Drake at home on December 6th. That'll be a great one. And then we play Montana at home on December 11th. And they're always a good team, home or away. So I think those 3 home matchups will be really fun, exciting for our fans to have great programs go head to head and really see where we're at. And then there's another mix of some games where I think it's really gonna help us to go on the road together. We have to piece together a good road trip where it's gonna happen to us in the conference season that's really gonna test us. So we play on the road at Bradley, we play on the road at St. Louis. We have a chance to go to Las Vegas for a Thanksgiving tournament. So we'll be at the Orleans playing against Santa Clara and Fordham, both of which are good programs. And then we'll play on the road at Northern Colorado before coming home for that home stretch against Drake, Montana. And then we finish up in finals week with UT Martin. And that's actually going to be a doubleheader with the men on that Wednesday night. So there's a lot of matchups I'm looking forward to. I'm definitely looking forward to the first one, and I'm going to continue to say that because there's going to be nothing like our team putting on the jerseys for the first time, and for our staff to be coaching in the arena for the first time. Certainly my first game as a head coach, I'm looking forward to it. It's amazing and fun that it's back in an arena that I have coached in before, but I'll be standing a lot more than I was sitting last time. So it's just a different role for everybody, and I know there's a lot of excitement about it, but I think our schedule is a great test for us to have some success and also get challenged before Summit League play begins.
Left to right, Grace Larkins. Larkins with a full head of steam to the right elbow. Lays it off for a trailing Guebert right side. She pushes to the free throw line. Back out to Carson. Shot fake top of the key to Guebert left wing. All alone for a 3, and she barely. Rebound Larkins for South Dakota. Here she comes in transition. Lays it off trailing to Carson. Shot fake left wing. Steps back. Feeds it to Ugofsky. 1-on-1. Draws the defender. Back out to Guebert. Straight away triple. That one's good as well. Left to right. Larkins, Hansen, Carson, Ugofsky, Guebert in game 4.
was a great debut, for our team tonight. I think we are just such a new team, a young team, obviously with a new coaching staff. So for us to continue to get better every single day, practicing is one thing, and then to step out on the floor and actually play against somebody in a real game is something totally different. But I thought our players handled it really well. I felt like we certainly shot the ball well, which helps everything. But yeah, just credit to our players for being ready to go, being the most aggressive team on the floor, and overall coming out with a great outcome.
Your non-conference schedule is always supposed to prepare you for your conference schedule, and so I wanted this mixture of some really challenging teams and then some other teams who could maybe build some confidence and give some of those younger players who either haven't played in the past because maybe they redshirted last year or played very limited minutes or hadn't played at all, to get back out on the floor and to feel what that feels like to compete and to play for longer stretches of time. And there was a lot of growing that we needed to do, and it certainly started with our Greece trip in August and playing those exhibition games, but it needed to extend longer than that. And so when you look at our non-conference, it was really important that we had those games in place for those players to get out on the floor. And it's one of the reasons, we started with the first game that we did against Midland. It was a chance to get out on our home floor and to feel those fans around us, and for some of those players to start their very first game. There's a lot of butterflies that go into that, and especially when you're a young player, maybe you're not even sure what to expect. And what a great outing we had that first night, and I think we shot the ball extremely well and made 19 threes, set a school record, a program record on our very first game. I think that was great for our confidence to see the ball go in, and we played extremely hard, and we set the tone the right way, and I think that was really important.
As a team that was really new with new coaches and just new way of doing everything, it was really a great opportunity for us to be able to spend that much time as a team and be able to, I guess, compete against one another, get to know each other's tendencies, and we just had a great time in Greece. And then going into fall, just getting to know everyone a little bit more and creating that team bond was really amazing. So very, very beneficial for our team. The first practice was just like any other year. You never know what you're going into until that first day. We kind of got a glimpse of it because of our trip to Greece, but with Mads coming in and just experiencing everybody's new talent, and it was just a very competitive first day, which is amazing, and we were all just excited to see where our roles landed, and honestly, a very great start to the year. I was very impressed with our first day, and the coaches made the transition very easy. So
yeah, I think this non-conference season we got to face a lot of teams that we haven't played before, which was kind of exciting. It can get to be kind of redundant when you're playing the same teams every year in the non-conference, so it was exciting to get to play against some different teams, and not only different teams, but a lot of different styles of play. I think that really helped us. And I think that we learned a lot from our non-conference season. Record-wise, it might not have been what we necessarily wanted it to be, but I think more than the record, we learned a lot from those games, and we were able to carry what we learned into our conference season. Yeah, I think that we had a lot of games during our non-conference season that prepared us for the conference season. We had some close ones, like when we played at St. Louis, and I think that those are kind of those games that really help you move forward, because you have a lot of players that haven't been in those close end of game situations, and so to get that win I think was huge to kind of feel that. But also losing close games you can kind of learn from too, because it's just being in that position that you've never been in before is definitely something that helps you moving forward.
Each non-conference game we played provided us a great opportunity. We found defenses of zone and man against us. We've learned how to go into play an inside-out game. We learned how to shoot from the three-point line. We learned all the things we needed to as a team, and especially our team chemistry really formed in that non-conference, which helps us in the conference, and it also allows us to fight through that adversity that I just talked about, where each time that we get knocked down, we're able to get back up, and that was just very important during that non-conference season to find out before a conference, so we're able to adjust very quickly. Players who have stepped up in that leadership role have kind of taken what we had as a team last year and formed it into our own sense because we do have a new team. But we've created that expectation and have had that same mentality of being a yote and just have allowed that to continue to move on. And there have been girls that have stepped up that last year were red shirts, such as Cassidy and Carly, and they have stepped up and done amazing things. And I think that mentality that all the leaders have had on the team right now have said it's anybody's day, any given time, and we're just all supportive of one another, and we are just all pushing each other to the end. So.
Well, some of the other challenges that were on our schedule were really important for us to get tested, and especially before the conference season began. So Creighton was one of those teams that was on our schedule already when we got here, and it's such a great quality opponent to have just a couple hours away. And we certainly knew that that was going to be a big challenge for us, and loved the way we started out that game, and we won the first quarter. We really set the tone, and then we kind of went cold for shooting in the second quarter, but we found a way to still battle with them, and I think that that was good for our confidence despite what the final score looks like. I think Drake was another quality opponent that we had coming in that we knew that was going to be a really tough team for us to play, and then the opponents that we had out in the Las Vegas tournament, we had Santa Clara first, and we played Fordham second out of the A-10, and both of those teams were huge challenges for us. And I think when you look ahead to our conference season and knowing that, you know, our rival SDSU was going to be really strong this year, NDSU had taken some steps, they were going to be good, UND was going to be good, and I know there were a lot of question marks still going into our conference play. There were 3 new head coaches and a lot of transfers in and out, and a lot of uncertainty, right, when you go into that conference play. But you do start to see with personnel and just experience who is starting to shape up to be, you know, some of the leaders in conference play. And so some of those non-conference opponents, I think, really prepared us at least for the battle that we were going to see. And knowing, again, we're a very different team too. We've got different personnel, different experience level, and different coaching staff. So there was a lot that we had to work through in that non-conference season, and I think that helped get us prepared.
Yeah, I think the Summit League looks very different this year. I think in years past it's been kind of very distinctive, like who's who and how they're going to play, but this year I think it's one of those things where any night anybody can win. So you have to treat every single game like it's just as important as the next game or the last game, because really every single team can beat you. And so I think that that's something that's been kind of cool to be a part of, just seeing how teams have grown and how they can compete every single night.
Well, our record, you know, doesn't really show the growth, and that's the difficult part when you're on the outside looking in. We have the great luxury of being in practice with our team every day, and what we could see is growth coming out of that practice stretch, especially during the month of December. And I know that didn't exactly translate to the court. You know, we had a lot of personnel changes throughout the fall. We had a couple of players unfortunately go down with season-ending injuries, and some of those were going to be key contributors for us. And so not only were we working through a new system and new coaches, but we had people in place early in the season, and we got great wins on the road at Bradley, on the road at St. Louis, really showed a lot of fight, getting down and battling back, and then unfortunately lost a couple players along the way. And so that 6-game stretch where we, you know, suffered losses there the end of November into December, you know, the record doesn't show a lot of growth, but we were seeing it, and we were also seeing just us progress and work through a lot of changes, and that's just really difficult to do in a very short time. So what we did like to see is right before Christmas is when our conference play started, and we were able to play UMKC and Oral Roberts on our home floor. We turned the page pretty quickly. We got reset, and we really focused in on our conference play, and we were really happy with the outcome of those first 2 conference games.